Hello everyone and welcome. Today's cards are super fun. They're part of a new release from Simon Hurley, and we are going to have some fun making some really cute spring and Easter cards. So I hope you'll follow along and stay till the end, and we'll have a lot of fun. So I have got Simon Hurley's new release. It was just released, and we have got the Bunnie Buddies, and this is cute. This is a 28-piece cutting die set, and you've got four different styles of bunnies that I guess that you could make, just depending on how you mix them up. So here are all the dies. You've got some grass and some florals and some butterflies and an egg and just some really cute pieces in this set. Like I said, there's 28 pieces, so it is a big set. And then in addition to that, we have got this egg, and it is called In Bloom Egg, and it's a two-piece die set. It has the back layer and then the detail layer. And we have also got an embossing folder that is a 3D embossing folder called Ornate Eggs, and it has got a stencil set to go with it, and it is a 5-piece stencil set. So I'm going to open it up and just show you. 4 of the stencils are to color the base color of the eggs. And you just lay them on the embossed panel and you can blend up, and then you've got a very decorative detail panel where you can add dots and flowers and stripes and squiggly lines to your embossed panel, and it is a really nice set. So those are the pieces that we're going to be working with today. And I have done a lot of things. This is a very long video. I spent a lot of time working on these, and so I have sped it up quite a bit while I'm doing the stenciling on the 3D embossing folder. And I'm just going to get it laid up on there. Took me a minute to try and figure out how to line it up, because you think you're going to line up those circles on the dots, but you don't necessarily. It's just going to add a really nice fun pattern to your 3D panel. So I have actually stenciled 3 of these up. I cut the footage out on that purple one that you see in the upper left-hand corner, because we're not going to wind up using that. We're going to use 2 of our panels. We're not going to use 3 of them. We're going to use the pink one that we first started out with, and then we're going to do a rainbow one, and we're going to use it. So I'm just going to get this stenciled up, and we're going to move along. And I'm also going to bring in all of my die cut pieces, and I have die cut them all out of white. So we're going to do some ink blending on all of them, and I did speed this up as well. Now here's the chart that shows you how to assemble all of the little bunnies. And I used that so that I would know which pieces to grab as I color them up. I'm going to just color my bunnies a little bit. For this one, we're going to go with white, and I've got my Lost Shadow Distress Oxides, and I'm going to lay some gray down on there for some shadowing. I'm going to get a little bit carried away, and when I go to grab his arms, I'll make his arms pretty dark, but then I'll die cut out a second set and cover it up, and it won't be too dark. Anyway, so I've got all of these pieces die cut out, and I'm just looking for the various pieces. And these are the ears, the nose, and the cheeks, and the feet. And I'm just getting some saltwater taffy ink laid down on here, and that's what I'm using for the pinks that are on our card. Now you can see I just did the hands with the Lost Shadow, and they are very dark, and I will assemble them that way. And then as I'm moving through my creative process and I notice them, I think they're too dark, and so then I'll die cut out another set of arms, and I will layer them up on top, and it won't be as dark as you will initially see. You'll see that when we come back in with the card. So I'm just going to pop the little toesies out, the little pads of the feet, so that the saltwater taffy will show behind there. I'm popping out the eyes and the little eyebrow areas, because we're going to put some black circles behind the eyes of the rabbit, and we're just going to get to assembling. Like I said, this is a longer video than normal. It's probably about double the length that I normally run, but we are going to make 3 cards, and this is such a fun set that I really just didn't want to cut any of it out, and I just wanted you to kind of see the whole creative process and how it comes together. And I will tell you, there was a craft room destroyed in the making of this video. I had everything everywhere. And once I got ready to assemble my cards, which were not there yet, I did pause and clean off the desk and get everything ready so that I could have room to move to assemble the cards. So here I've just put a little bit of glue on the backs of the ears, and I'm just picking up those saltwater taffy pieces so that we have the pink showing behind the little bunny's ears. Now here is where we're going to put the little black pieces, and I'm going to position them so that if you can see through the eyebrow area, you'll see black as well as the eye. And you could use any color you wanted. You could use blue, or I think I used gray on one of them, but I think it turns out really cute. I've just used black soot on that because that is the black Distress Oxide ink that I have, and that's what I used for the eyes. So we're going to get the little pads of the feet laid down on there now, and you can just line them up and kind of just pick them up. That one fell off. I didn't give myself enough time for it to glue, and I'm using little bitty amounts of glue because I'm trying not to make a gluey mess. However, my fingers were covered with glue throughout this whole process, as well as ink from all the blending that I did. So just a little dot of glue on the nose area, and we'll lay this cute little nose down on there. And then there are some tiny little cheeks that I'm going to have to color up. Now here I'm going to lay those arms down on there, and they on the glass mat don't look that dark, but when you lay it on the white body, I mean, they just are really dark. And I mean, they could be shadowed, but I just think it's too dark. So I will remedy that when we get ready to assemble our card by die cutting out a second set of arms and just putting a little bit of blending on them. See how much darker that is? We'll fix that. It's never over until it's over. So I just pointed out those little cheek areas, and I'm going to bring in my white cardstock where I have die cut all these little bits and pieces out. And fortunately, a lot of them wanted to stay in the cardstock, so I was able to kind of keep track of all the pieces that way. Some of them did fall out, but I've got them in a little tray. And I'm just going to keep using that blending brush over and over just to color in these little cheeks and noses and all the different things that we're going to use to assemble. That is a waffle flower sticky mat that I'm using, and it is filthy. It is covered with ink and markers and everything because it has been well loved. I did clean it before we started the crafty process, but I've done so much blending and everything that it is, again, very dirty. I am going to order me a new sticky mat. I need one, and I need to keep one like this for the dirty stuff and then have a cleaner one for inside my Misty. So there you go. Arms are too dark, but like I said, we'll get after that. I'm realizing that they're too dark, so I'm trying to add a little bit of gray to his little booty and then the top of his head just to kind of help blend it in. He's got a little bit of hair on the, like a little fur sticking up there between his ears. And I thought, well, it'd be cute if we had a little gray on that. So I'm going to put some gray on that and just give him a little bit more dimension. I'm trying to help blend it, but I'm going to remedy it. And I'm just using some real small blending brushes for that. He is cute. I think he's cute. He's like a little dirty bunny. Anyway, so we're going to, as we go, I'm going to clean because we're going to be using different colors and stuff, and I'm going to try and keep it cleaned up. I've just got my stamp chamois there that's wet, and I'm just wiping it down. I think I have ink on both sides of it because I keep throwing it aside and then picking it up and doing some more inking. So I probably have stuff on both sides. So you can see I've got more bunny bodies and bunny heads and bits and pieces in here. And I'm just going to pull them out and we're going to get them inked up. Now this one I wanted to make a little brown bunny. So I'm going to get the pieces for it, and then we're going to create a little brown bunny. And this one is actually my favorite. I'm surprised. I didn't think I liked the angle of this one as well, but I like my coloring better on this. And so I think it looks cute. And we're going to just add some color to it. So I'm just getting all the little bits and pieces that I need for him. I'm going to need a nose and a little cheek, and we're going to need the little pieces for the ears. And so I'm trying to decide what all I need. There is a little towel I'm going to pop out and use it, and I'm just studying it. There's a little hand there and a little towel that were right beside each other, and this is the towel. And I think I have all the pieces. Those were the scraps that fell out of the ears. I will bring in the other ears. So I've just got vintage photo, and I wasn't sure if it would be the right color, but it does come out pretty good, I think. I like it. So I've just got a detail blending brush, and I'm just taking it, right to the ink and then coloring this up. And I'm making his little tail just a little bit lighter than the rest of the body. And just trying to get some brown ink on there so that I've got a brown bunny. And you can see my sticky mat. It's not real sticky. It's still moving around there. So I'll just keep going with the ink. And I'm lining the little head up so that I can put a little shadow underneath the chin. And just trying to get a little shadowing there just to try and make it look a little bit more interesting, have a little bit more dimension. And there we go. So we'll get that ink put away, and we're going to get the rest of the bits and pieces together. So I've got all the little, like the little nose, and there's only one cheek showing because we've got a side view. And I'm getting the ears that I think are going to work. And I'm trying to get this bow pulled out, but I wasn't able to get it pulled out. But I've got another one that is on the other panel, and I'll wind up using it for this particular bunny. And so I'm just grabbing some more of that saltwater taffy ink and just inking these pieces up. I'm just chasing them around that sticky mat. I'm going to grab some more ink. I wasn't getting it quite as dark as I wanted it for the nose and the ears, so I just grabbed a little bit more ink, and we'll get it laid down on there. I actually later will take some of that ink to some white cardstock so that I can die cut out some decorative pieces with it. When we get to that, I'll point it out to you, but this was a really fun crafty session. And I kind of did it in segments. And when I came back to put my card design idea, like the panels and all that, is when I got really excited because I thought I had some fun elements. And I was using things that I had already previously created in my craft room and bringing them into elements for these cards. I'll point that out when we get there as well. So just putting a little bit of glue down on the nose. We're going to get the little tip of the nose. It's kind of like the bunny's kind of, sniffing the air or something, because he's kind of got it. I'm going to say she, because I'm going to put a bow on her. She's kind of got her head tilted, and she's got that little nose kind of upward. And then we're going to get a little cheek laid down on there as well. And we'll bring in a little dark color for the back of the eye. I'm just punching the hole out there, the die cut piece, and then I'll bring in the back of the eye and just color it up. And there we go. Isn't that cute? So cute. I think this is where, I just grab another piece for the eye. And it, like I said, it goes where the eye is and the eyebrow, because there is a little slit there where the eyebrow pops out. So you might need a little color behind there. And I use the black soot, and I'm just going to get it laid down on there. So fun and so cute. So we've got two of our bunnies, and I will tell you, I think I assembled a third one off camera. Right now I'm going to pop out all of the little grassy pieces and the stems and the florals and just some decorative elements. I'll pop out, I think, a couple of butterflies and just all the little extra pieces. There's an egg, a big egg that is decorative, a two-piece egg. And there's also some little tiny eggs and some single flowers and double flowers. And we're just going to color them all up, and we'll use those. And I'm pulling away pieces that I don't need. There are some extra little ears and body pieces that popped out there, and I'm just going to lay those aside and just color up what I need. So I'm just going to get my ink out. We're going to start coloring up all these bits and pieces, and then we will come back together and we'll do some assembly. I'm going to cut a little bit of this footage out because it is kind of lengthy, and you get the idea. I'm just taking ink to the white paper and just adding all of my color. So at this point, I've made great progress. I've got a lot of the things colored up, And I'm just going to start assembling the flowers on the stems and just pull these things together. And they just layer up. You've got 3 that go on here, and then you've got a single one that goes on another. So those 4 floral elements all cut out together, and then we've got 2 sets of stems. We've got the 3 and then the single. I think there's a double one as well, too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so cute. And then we've got the little grassy areas, and we've got those all ready to go. So I've got most of my little bits and pieces colored. Now this is where I decide that I'm going to do kind of a rainbow color for our egg, for our big egg. I decide, for one thing, I wanted a bigger panel than an A2 size panel for the in bloom egg, and so I just brought in some watercolor paper, and I just laid a bunch of ink down, and then we're going to die cut the in bloom egg out of this, and then we'll have the elements that we need for that card. And so I'm just going to get all these little bits and pieces out. I think I cut this out because it takes me a minute to get them all out of there. And then I actually go back and add some more ink to it and just really brighten the color of the egg. So I don't, it looks a little muted here, and then I'll go back and just really brighten it up. And I fussed with that a good bit, but I got all the pieces out, and I've got all of my elements laying here. And now we're ready to get started assembling this cards. And this is where the fun begins. This is where I was really excited because I had laid out my design. Now here I took some glitter rainbow colored cardstock, and I've got a couple layers there, and I pressed the egg into it and left all of the pieces in there. I've got another piece glued on the back of it to hold all the bits and pieces in, but we've got all of that etched detail on that gold or that glitter cardstock, and you'll be able to see the design of the flowers underneath this egg, and it's going to look really cool. Super fun. And if you want, you can save the pieces that pop out from your egg and use those for a decorative element. I did save them for a minute, and then I decided I wasn't going to use them, so then I went ahead and pitched them. But anyway, you can save those. But I think this is fun because we've got them die cut out, and then we have the etched detail on that glitter cardstock, and you can see it through the base. So I'm just preparing my card base, and then we're going to get our decorative egg laid down on here. We've got a little bit of sparkle from that glitter. I think it looks nice. And like I said, you can see the debossed detail from the flowers and the stems and everything. So we'll glue it up and get it laid down on here. Now I'm trying to edit out, as much stuff as I can in this. So it's not a really long video, but I want you to be able to see, all the fun stuff. So I thought, because I've kind of got a teal look on the bottom of that I'd bring in kind of a dark teal cardstock to lay that on and just let this kind of pop off of it. Okay, so now we are going to grab the single floral piece, and I just glued one side of his hand down, and I left room so that I could lift his little hand up and put this little flower in his hand. And so I'm just tucking it in there, and we're going to lay this on the egg. I thought it'd be fun to go ahead and bring in one of the bunnies in on the in bloom egg and just have it as an element on the egg for some fun. So I'm going to just glue him up and get him laid down here, and I think it's a cute little addition. The egg is big enough to be, your focal point on your card. In fact, you could make a shaped card with it, and I think it would be a really nice card like that. And just add a sentiment, and you'd have a really nice card. So I'm going to take this Happy Easter, and I have just ink blended in yellow panel behind it, and I'm just going to lay it down on there and let the yellow pop through with a Happy Easter message. And then we're going to get this laid down on our egg. So I have got a couple more pieces, the decorative pieces that I thought would be fun to add to it. I have got one of our butterflies that I have ink blended with yellow and pink, and we've got yellow, pink, and orange. And I'm just going to have the butterfly land right there on our Happy Easter sentiment and just kind of hang off there. And then I have 2 little Easter eggs, and I'm going to layer the 2 of those up, try to figure out where to place them on here. I'm just going to place them somewhere around near the little bunny's feet and just add them for an extra little detail there. And then I'm just layering them up. I'm just putting the pink one on the blue one and just kind of offsetting it. And then we're just going to tuck it on there. And I think it's going to be really cute. So I wind up kind of putting it up there by his toe, I guess, and just positioning it. I thought, well, I had them and they were ink blended and ready to go, so we'll just add them to it. Now I'm going to bring in a little gem, and some gems, and I'm going to sprinkle them around into the centers of the flowers that are on that glitter cardstock, and just add some shine to it. And these are just Spellbinders gems. And that'll finish off the card. I think it's super pretty. We've got a lot of shine and sparkle with that. Now we're going to work on the pink one. And this is the saltwater taffy card is what I'm going to call it. And I think the 2 colors look really, it really goes together. The ink with the cardstock, it's Spellbinders cardstock that I'm using. And I think they went together very nicely. And I like the design that I came up with for this card. And this is the one that I used elements that were already prepared in my craft room that I had already die cut out or had ready to go. And you can see I've got the trim, the ribbon and trim etched die set here that I have die cut these out of, and I'm just layering them up. Now I had these 2 colors already prepared, and then I took the ink, the saltwater taffy ink, and ran it down my white cardstock and just created this color here so that it would match my design exactly, because it's the same ink that I used. And we're going to layer it up, and it makes a nice 3-layer ribbon to run down the side here, and I think it's super cute. Now that arch is from the Regal Reflections pierced die set, and I had already had it out, and it was laying in a tray in my craft room from a previous project in which I did not use it. And so I thought, what a great landing zone for my bunny. And so I'm going to use it to just create a nice little spot to ground my bunny on my Easter egg panel there. And we've got a lot of embossing, 3D embossing on here. So I will have a little bit of trouble getting this panel to stick. I'll just have to keep pressing it and maybe even adding a little bit more glue just so that we get it to lay nice and flat, so it looks nice and flat on our card. And I think this one is my favorite one. Now we do have a rainbow panel one that is really cute as well, but I think this is my favorite. I like the little brown bunny, and I'm going to put a little bow on her head and just make her super cute. Here's where I'm adding some more glue to try and get this to stay down. And I'm going to add a little strip of grass because she's going to have some flowers growing. And this is where it kind of looks like she's sniffing the flowers. Super cute. And we'll get that laid down on there. I'm trying to figure out where I want to position her. And I'm actually going to position her a little bit to the right of the grass and kind of fill in that space. And then we'll add our flowers to the left of her. Now here's the little bow. I'm just going to add a little pink bow to her head and just make it so cute. And we've got some pink flowers, and we're just going to get them laid down on here. I've got the trio, and then I've got a single one. And we'll just cluster those up, and it'll be super cute. And I think I wind up cutting the stem off this. It's got quite a curl to it, and I couldn't position it how I wanted to, so I just trimmed it down so that the stem wasn't quite as curled and was able to tuck that in. And it moved around, so I'm just going to push it down and give it a little press. And this is coming together. Again, I took the saltwater taffy ink and I took it on a white card base or card strip, actually I'm just using scraps of the card stock that I die cut the bunnies out of. And I just took the ink straight to the paper and added the color. And this is going to be the back of my sentiment. And we've got Happy Spring here, and it matches perfectly because we've used the same ink. And I think it is so fun. Now I've got 3 more flowers laying off to the side there, and I'm going to use those to help embellish our little, I guess what I'm going to call our little arch or our little window area, whatever you want to call that. Just going to trim this off. I wanted to pop the sentiment up, and that way I wouldn't have to worry about gluing it, flat on all that embossed detail. We can just use this and get a good stick on it. And I just love this color scheme. I'm going to put 3 dots of glue up here, and we're going to take those extra florals that I have and just glue them onto the arch. And we're going to kind of have, flowers on the top right and then on the bottom left, and just kind of across from each other. Now I'm going to take the same gems. There were actually 2-tone colors in this set, and I'm going to just grab the little ones and just put them in the center of all these flowers, and it will add a little sparkle to the card. Just positioning them with my little pick. So I found myself this evening with some spare time. I've been having the grandsons every Friday night, and tonight, evidently they were busy and they didn't come, and so I found myself with some spare time to just have some fun and craft, and that's what I'm doing here. Now I have got the rainbow pattern here, and there was kind of an edge where I didn't stencil it as well, but that's okay. I want to cut it down anyway. So I'm actually going to cut on all 4 sides of this, kind of go around and just get a nice crisp edge all the way around this. I'll wind up with, I think I wind up with 3 3/4 by 5 maybe. Yeah, I think that's what I go with. And I've got a purple cardstock from Spellbinders that I'm going to use for a background layer on it. And then we will just get this layered up with that rainbow 3D embossed panel. And it's going to be cute. We've got some fun elements for this one as well. So just get it lined up nice and neat. I think I have to maybe give it a trim. Yep, trim it off. And then we'll get to getting all of our pieces laid down on here. And we will have our 3rd and final card. So look at that. Doesn't that look pretty with the purple behind there? Super pretty. Now I'm trying to get a good amount of glue out so I can get it adhered nicely since we have all that detail. And we're just going to get it laid down on there, try to get a nice frame around there. And this is where we're going to bring in the little seated bunny. And like I said, actually, the bunny that is on the egg, I think I assembled it off camera. This one I did assemble on camera, but this is the one where I took and replaced the arms because they were too dark. So I'll point that out to you so that you'll notice it when I lay it down on the card what I did. So I've got a stitched oval set that I'm going to use to ground my bunny. And here you can see I've added extra arms, and I've only glued them at the top so that I can slide this egg right into this bunny's hands. And he is holding this decorative egg. And that's cute. You can see the arms are not near as dark as they were when I showed them before. Now his little forehead's still got some gray ink on it. So I've got 2 little strips of grass that I'm going to use on this one. And I'm just going to kind of connect them across the bottom of the panel. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to be a little bit wonky, and that's okay. And then we're going to add several of our little yellow flowers. And our bunny with his egg in his hands. And I'm just trying to go clear across the white panel as much as I can, just because the way he's sitting, he's going to kind of spread all the way across there, and I want to kind of have grass underneath him where he's sitting at. And I'm just going to take my floral elements and I'm going to glue them up on there, and they're kind of going to be back behind him, and then we'll just put him in front of him. So I'm just testing where they want to go. I'm going to move this over a little bit. I want to have a little bit more room for the bunny to where the flowers are just peeking out behind him. And we'll do the same thing with this set of flowers. And I've got one more extra one over there. And I'm going to grab it and tuck it. I've got it die cut out and inked up and ready to go. We're going to use it. And we'll just position it on here. And you're not going to see that stem because we're going to have his foot over it, but you will be able to see the flower tucking out behind him. So we'll get our little bunny laid down on here. And you'll see off to the left there, I've got a purple and blue butterfly that we're going to add to this card as well. Trying to line things up. I don't think I get it perfectly lined up, but it is a handmade card, and I think it's super cute. There was a little die cut piece that I had to pop out, so I got my poke tool and then popped it out. And we've got a cute little butterfly. Now I have blended another sentiment backer piece, and I'm going to get it assembled, and we'll have another of our sentiments. So we'll get our oval stitched over panel laid down on here with our cute little bunny, and then we'll get our sentiment. Now, I will link all the materials in the description box below. There is a bundle. If you want to get the whole set, I would encourage you to do that. But I think you can buy pieces separately as well. So if you shop the links, it's very helpful to me. I appreciate it. So here we go. We're going to get this Happy Spring laid down on here. And I just think this is the cutest little set. And I had a lot of fun playing with it. Trying to position it, and I'm going to get it laid down on here. So we'll just grab some glue, and I'm just going to get it positioned on there. And then we're going to bring in those same gems, and we're going to add them to our flowers. And it will add some nice little sparkle. We've got 7 flowers all together, so we're just going to lay 7 little gems. And I'll use some small ones, and I think I run out of my small ones, so I'll have to go with a bigger one and add it, but it'll be fine. And it's super cute. And I love how the bunny is holding that egg. We've had a big bunny playing in our backyard lately in the snow. It's been cute. So here is our rainbow card. We've got our saltwater taffy card, and then we've got our egg. I hope you like them. They were super fun. If you do, consider giving the video a thumbs up, as it does help YouTube to push my videos out. And if you haven't subscribed, love to have you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye now.